Hey gang, Uncle Todd here, and yeah, we're doing another garage video. Uh, Erika and I went and saw Blue Beetle the other day, and thought it was really good. Uh, we'll get into the pros and cons after this. First things first. Yes, this movie is woke, but you know what? The wokeness of it is real life. We open with Susan Sarandon looking cute as a bug in a white parka with a little puff of orange hair bob on the front sticking out under the hood, where she finally finds what she's been looking for, a giant ancient metal scarab. Cut to I think the name of it was Paradise Cove, Paradise City, something like that. I am not that well versed in modern Blue Beetle lore. Anyway, we cut to Jaime Reyes, who's returning from college, just getting his pre-law degree, where when they return to his family, which includes his sister, mother, father, Nana, and his uncle, Rudy, played by George Lopez, and he finds that their repair shop is closed. Their rent has been tripled and they can't make rent, are going to be basically gentrified out of their home. And his father had had a heart attack. But as his father says, it's nothing to worry about. It's just a clogged pipe. I'm fine. His father does that a lot. He's very much the, we're going to be fine. Don't worry. I'll take care of this kind of a father. You know, the kind everybody would want. Then we cut to him working at the Cord mansion, where he meets, what is her name? Jenny Cord, the daughter of Ted Cord, who has gone missing. Susan Sarandon plays where is she? Victoria Cord, our main villain. And due to a set of circumstances, he and his sister both get fired. And Jenny feels bad and says if he'll stop by the office, main offices, she'll see if she can get him a job. So he goes the next day. Only she's stolen the scarab and is trying to get out unawares and hands it to him in a burger container. Belly Burger. You know, if you're a fan of the Flash TV show, you're familiar with Belly Burger. And then he takes it home where the family's curious, and he takes it out. Several of them handle it, but when he handles it, it activates and attaches itself to him. This is the Blue Beetle. It is a alien piece of technology that forms a symbiotic relationship with its host. Kind of like Venom, only a little more quid pro quo-ish than Venom, the way Venom used to drain Eddie until they got the whole eating brains and chocolate thing. Anyway, this doesn't like that. And he's trying to get a handle on this while being chased by Victoria's goons. And she needs it to complete her OMAC project for the military. That's One Man Army Corps, which is a really deep cut for DC lore. And of course, the family is targeted, and it becomes a race against time, as usual. A lot of things I liked about it. George Lopez, this is about the most I've enjoyed George Lopez in years. He is hilarious. He plays a genius inventor, and he is a genius. It's not one of those things where he makes stuff that just breaks and falls apart. It's a little jerry-rigged, and he has to kick it a few times to get things started, but what he makes does work. And another thing I like is they go deep into Blue Beetle lore. They bring up both Ted Cord and I can never remember the original's name. I think it was Grant. Uh, but you know what? I'll figure it out later and put it in the bottom. But the original Blue Beetle, who I believe was named Grant, uh, in the 40s, Blue Beetle is actually one of the characters that's as old as like Batman and Wonder Woman. He originally started for a company called Fox, named after Victor Fox, who worked for DC, saw the sales returns on the first issue of Action, quit his job, opened up a comic book company, and was pretty successful up to the 50s. Post-war, most superheroes fell out of fashion. The Blue Beetle was basically a police officer who had a friend who was a chemist who made these pills that would give him super strength for a limited amount of time, and also created a bulletproof costume for him to wear. Then in the 60s, Charlton Comics had gotten the character, and they revamped it with giving him his powers of a scarab that came from a scarab amulet. I think it was Egyptian. But that one was short-lived. This was during the superhero revival of the 60s that Marvel and DC had spearheaded. And then all of the Charlton characters passed over to DC, which is where OMAC comes from. And there we were introduced to Ted Cord, who didn't have any magic powers, and basically was like a lighter version of Batman. He was all gadgets, and he was very upbeat, and, cracked jokes and things, and was a millionaire industrialist and invented all his own equipment. And that brings us to Jaime Reyes, who found the scarab. And that brings us to here. A lot of things I liked about the film. I love the family. I liked the chemistry between Jaime and the actress who plays Jenny. I also like that they don't really have a romance. They might have a romance, but they don't have one yet. And also at the end of the movie, it's not like the ending of Justice League where Bruce just buys the bank that owns Martha's house and gives it to her. These are proud people, and they will make it on their own. She gives them some help, but it's only help that they both feel she owes them for some of the things that had happened during the film. And now we get to the real woke part. We're getting into immigrants of Hispanic origin. They are Mexican, being pushed out of their home by gentrification. And it also comes up that the only family members that are actual citizens are Jaime and his sister. Everyone else came over illegally. I make a big point of that because at one point someone suggests calling the police, and Uncle Rudy's like, no. You know what happens if we call the police? They'll ask for our papers. They'll ask for Nana's papers. We don't have papers. And I'm sure that's going to tick off a lot of people, but it's a part of reality. And you can try and sugarcoat your stuff and complain about it being woke, but it's a part of life, and I am glad they put that reflection in. There's a lot of action in it. One of the villains isn't really a villain. He turns out to be just as used and pushed around as Jaime and his family are. He's as much a victim as they are. And Susan Sarandon chews up the scenery excellently. Oh my gosh, such a good villain. She doesn't cackle or anything like that. She's very much James Woods in Hercules, the Disney film. She's like that. She's very charismatic and knows how to talk people into doing what she wants. She even uses a little sexual allure. And I don't want to hear any ageism. She's still very attractive. Yeah, all in all, a really good film, and I hope it does well. DC needs to stick with these kind of films. The whole Justice League thing where they're trying to jam everything in together, and even The Flash was like that. They got to stop those and just do what they did with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Just make a good film featuring a superhero and some friends that help. Oh, and I love Nana. She's like this sweet little old lady, you know, the typical grandmother everybody would want. And then when the stuff hits the fan and she finds, I'm not sure, looks like that gun pain from the Predator, that huge gun, painless, and she knows how to operate it. How does she know how to operate it? She's had a past and has, her daughter, Jaime's mother, says, we agreed you would not talk about your revolutionary days. A lot of good humor, but it's not one-liners. It's all very much character-based, and I love the dad. Love the dad. Even when they're at their worst, they're surrounded by guns, and they're about to get shot. He's always, we'll get through this. Don't worry. It's all under control. You go, Father. Yeah, I would highly recommend this film. I think it's a great superhero film. And just give it a chance and don't get all hung up on all the woke stuff that's in it. Because it had to be there due to the reality of our world. Gone are the days when you can have a minority superhero and not delve into that kind of stuff. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.